Echo TV is a co-production of Minnesota's Emergency and Community Health Outreach Collaborative of health, safety, ethnic and nonprofit agencies, and TPT's Minnesota channel.
Welcome to ECHO, which stands for Emergency and Community Health Outreach. I'm your host, Lillian McDonald. I'm also the Executive Director for ECHO, and we're proud to bring you information every month in multiple languages, and we bring it to you right here on public television. We have a new topic this month, and we'll get started on that in just a moment, but first we want you to watch this important information about our program, which is on government and you in emergencies.
Every year, in every season, we hear about disasters that take people's homes and lives. We watch pictures of the destruction on television news, and still, most of us don't believe that such events could happen where we live. Disasters can strike anywhere. Tornadoes, floods, chemical spills, even nuclear power accidents and acts of terrorism are real possibilities that we must prepare for. Everyone plays a role in preparing for emergencies and responding to them when they do happen. Knowing your role and the government's role in emergency response is helpful so you know what you can do to prepare for emergencies and what government is doing to prepare for emergencies. Individuals and families can prepare themselves for emergencies by making a plan and making a kit. Family survival plans are simple steps to guide children, parents, and relatives so they know how to stay healthy and safe when unexpected emergencies happen. For instance, if you are separated from your family during a tornado, families will need to have a safe place nearby or away from home to meet when the storm clears. Families will know where to go because they plan for the emergency before it happens. Family survival plans also include a list of important phone numbers so you know who to call for help to handle health and safety needs. Having alternative ways to cook, heat, or cool your home will help if the electricity goes out. Medical information, evacuation routes, fire escapes, and a list of shelters are all resources so families know what to do and where to go if the emergency strikes at home, work, or school. Some emergencies may require families to stay home until help arrives. A survival kit has enough basic supplies to last for 3 days and should be packed away because you may not be able to shop for supplies during some emergencies. Survival kits contain drinking water, nutritious snacks and food, first aid supplies, flashlights, tools, clothing, bedding, and medicines or other items for family members' special needs. Like families, each government agency has emergency plans so police officers, firefighters, public health officials, medical workers, and emergency managers know how to act quickly to help communities and businesses. The government's role is to prepare for each kind of disaster that could harm an entire neighborhood, city, or county. Emergency planning also includes training for emergency responders, creating warning systems like sirens and radio broadcasts, and getting equipment like fire trucks, ambulances, and clothing for handling hazardous materials. An emergency operations center is a place where local and state government and other resources gather to organize resources and response teams. By practicing emergency plans, each different government agency knows how to work together in the event of tornado, winter storm, pandemic flu, terrorist attack, or other major crisis affecting people and property. Nonprofit agencies such as the Red Cross or Salvation Army play a role in emergency response. The Red Cross provides support for individuals and families who need food, clothing, and temporary shelter. Help may also come from faith-based communities, volunteers, and others willing to help. To help communicate what to do in an emergency, ECHO has a role. People will want to know what's happening and how to stay healthy and safe during a disaster. Skilled bilingual communicators will relay health and safety information in multiple languages on TV, internet, phone, email, and face-to-face through community partners and other resources. Knowing where to get information and how to respond during a disaster are important steps that help individuals, governments, and communities work side by side to help everyone in an emergency.
Welcome back. You're watching ECHO, Emergency Community Health Outreach Program. We provide health and safety information every month on public television, right here on public television. I'm your host, Executive Director of ECHO, Lillian McDonald, and we're talking on this particular subject about government and you in emergencies. Know your role, essentially, so that you are prepared. And joining me for this conversation this time is Chris Eide, the Director of Emergency Services for Minnesota's Homeland Security and Emergency Management Offices, and also Courtney Johnson here from the Twin Cities chapter of the American Red Cross. My thanks to both of you for joining us.
Glad to
Thank
be
you.
here.
It's an important subject. You know, it's not top of mind in everybody's mind, but it's something we're always trying to get people to talk about and prepare for. So tell us, why is it so important that we prepare for our emergencies in our community?
Well, I think that everybody does have a role in an emergency. The government has its role, individuals have their role, and if they're not prepared, then the government has to take over and help the people who should have been preparing. People have busy, busy lives. And it's one of the important things to remember that disasters do happen. Yeah. And that it really is incumbent upon a family to make sure that they can take care of themselves until the government can get there and help them.
Yeah, and I might add, too, just historically, we've learned in different disasters that have happened in this country, whether it's Katrina or 9/11 or some of the other things that have happened, that if you do a little bit yourself, then maybe you're not adding up to the complexity of the need in the community when there's a response going on.
Absolutely. There are a lot of special populations that we have to make sure that as government we take care of. So individual families that can take care of themselves really will put our scarce resources into an area where they're really needed.
So we should prepare for all kinds of emergencies, but there are lots of kinds. How do you categorize or classify those?
Really, there are three types. Those that happen to individuals and families, such as a house fire or getting stranded in a snowstorm. It could be something that would be a chemical spill in their basement, fumes happen, carbon monoxide, a lot of those kinds of things. Then we have natural disasters. We have several of those that we have in Minnesota. Floods, we have floods just about every year. We have some severe storms. We have winter storms, tornadoes, those types of things, natural disasters. And then we have technological and human-caused disasters. And those are the terrorist attacks. Those could be the chemical spills from big companies. That could be a rollover on the highway where the fumes get out, those types of emergencies.
So we're talking about preparing for all kinds as best we can. So why should we prepare? I mean, how do you pick an emergency and then just start preparing? I mean, what do you need to do, and how do you know?
You really have to prepare for all kinds of hazards. I think I'll let Courtney talk about how a family should prepare.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, it's important to be prepared because you never know when something will happen. We could go home tonight and find out that, heaven forbid, something's happened and our houses aren't there anymore, you know? So you never know when disaster is going to strike. Studies show that people would like to prepare, that they just need to know how to prepare. And some of the steps involved with that are making a kit, like this emergency survival kit that's in front of us. Some of the things that you're looking for are basically enough supplies that if you needed to live out of the basement of your home for 3 days, that you would have enough supplies. So 1 gallon of water per person per day, enough food, snacks, a battery-powered radio, toys for the kids to keep them occupied. And then a lot of us have pets, so you want to make sure that you've got the same amount of supplies for your children, or for the pets.
And even, you know, keeping busy during a snowstorm, for instance, you know, it's not a crisis. You're not locked down in the basement forever, but you've got to have something to do while the plows are out. I will say this. Having been the victim of a tornado in my own home and having been relegated to the basement for several hours, and having the good fortune of having the battery-operated radio and at least some water to get by, it is a good reminder. And we've heard stories of people that get trapped on the highways and things like that in snowstorms or floods. But some people can't afford all of the items. Are there some items that are, you know, you just got to have more than others, or can you work up to it, take it in a small bite until you can get all the things you need, or what would you recommend there?
Absolutely. You know, there's actually like a 25-week plan on what you can get. If you just grab a couple of these things each time you're at the grocery store, you'll have your kit before you know it. So, you know, you want to think probably the first things that you need would be the things that sustain life, so food and water. Water would probably be, if I could only get one thing this week, it'd probably be water. Because you said, you know, even if it's a few hours, everybody gets thirsty.
Right.
Especially, you know, if it's a few hours, great. You know, you might not need as much to sustain you. But, so water, food. Then, you know, information's real important, especially in those emergency scenarios. So maybe pick up a battery-powered radio. It looks like, you know, this one you can get at a secondhand store. So.
And I also know it's important to keep a list of resources, a communication plan, family members that will be in the know, so that if something's up with me and my family, they've got some information to go with. A list of medications is probably a good idea to have on hand in case you need to have that right away. What about a plan? It's great to have a kit, but if you don't know how to use the kit, what good is it?
Exactly. When we talk about having a plan means not only having a plan that if there was a fire in the middle of the night and you needed to get out of your home, knowing two different routes to get out of your home, but also having a plan to get out of the Twin Cities area if you had to. And involved in that not only is, you know, logistically, how are you going to get from point A to point B, but who's going to pick up the kids from school? Will the kids be at school, or will they be bused to some kind of safe shelter? Do you have some person to check in with? A lot of the times, if something is big enough happening in the Twin Cities where we're all going to have to up and leave, then chances are that the phone lines are going to be down or overloaded.
Yeah.
So you want to have somebody, you know, your great aunt in Chicago, who everybody can call, and she can kind of be your point person saying, hey, I heard from them, I talked to them, they're fine,
And then you're
they'll
not
call
on the
when
phone
they can.
all the time. And the other thing, too, is that, you know, in a crisis or an emergency situation, who's got time to think? You got to keep it all really simple.
Yep.
And one of the things you can do, too, and the only reason why I know this, again, having been affected by it, I had to learn some things about it, is get involved in the communities. There are things going on everywhere that people can do, whether they help you, your program at the Red Cross, volunteer, or some of the other programs as well.
Right. The third step is get involved. And get involved with the Red Cross means, you know, giving of your time, giving, so that means, you know, volunteering. We have volunteers who help with disasters, who will go out and be a member of our disaster action team, who will help people and counsel them and get them what they need immediately after they experience a disaster.
That's helpful. That's helpful. What does government do to prepare for emergencies? What's their role? We see what the volunteer role is, the individual, the family role. What's government doing to prepare?
Government has to make sure that the government systems are there to help those people that need it, and to help make sure that people can get out of harm's way prior to an emergency, or that everybody's safe after the emergency. Everybody has a different role. There's police, fire, ambulance, public health, emergency management. So we as government make sure that we have a plan also. That we have a plan for the community, and that we have a plan for the state, and that those plans work together, and they work together with the federal government's plan, so that it's all interrelated. Then once we have that plan, then we make sure that we can actually do that plan.
Yeah.
So we have to train on it. We have to train together. So state employees, local employees, and volunteers all train on the same things. Then we have to exercise that plan. So it's practice. So we develop these scenarios. We play.
Talk it through, and then you also act it out.
We do, all the way to evacuating areas, bringing in the hoses, filling sandbags. It's important that we know who each other is and what our roles are, so that we're not all falling over each other.
So you learn a little bit something about the process as well. Communication is going to play a pivotal role in any situation. People are going to want to know what's going on, what's happening. And one of the things that ECHO does, as you both well know, is we serve kind of a special population that may be challenged with limited English proficiency situations. English isn't their first primary language. And if most of the mainstream media is focusing on catering information to English populations, who's addressing those other special populations? So I want to take a second and just talk briefly about what ECHO is able to provide at this stage of the game, and how we can plug into your plans as well. ECHO is Emergency Community Health Outreach. We have a toll-free phone line. We have a website. We broadcast on public television. We have community partners that are also relayers of information. So if I get information to your agency and your agency, you'll get it out to members of the community. So it's nice to be plugged in communications as well. One more question I want to ask both of you is if a disaster does strike, and this lends itself to ECHO as well, is what should I do now? And how will I know what my role will be in that crisis when I'm under the pressure at that time?
Well, the first thing you probably want to do is get informed when there's a disaster. So, be it television, radio, if it's a big enough disaster, those might not be available to you because of lack of electricity. A lot of the times in Rogers, for example, when we had our emergency response vehicles out in the community feeding folks, we were handing face-to-face information. The city gave us information saying, here, take this, can you distribute this for us?
So look for the information is probably the critical point, and know where to get the information, whether you're limited English-speaking population or English is your primary language. Well, I want to thank you both for joining us and sharing your expertise. There's a lot to cover on this, I know, and we'd like to encourage folks to get more information. We'll tell you where to get that in a moment. But first, we want to talk to you about the three highlights, the three key messages of our program and our subject at this time. Number one, individuals, government, and community agencies work together to recover from emergencies or disasters. Number two, preparing for emergencies before they happen helps everyone know what to do and where to go to stay healthy and safe. And then finally, number three, get involved in health and safety emergency planning so you know how to help your family and your community. My thanks again to both our guests today joining us with information. If you have more quest for knowledge on this particular topic or would like to learn more about ECHO, please visit our website at www.echominnesota.org. We'll have links to these fine agencies and others as well, and you can learn more about your role and government's role in an emergency. For now, that's all we have. I am your host, Lillian McDonald. I appreciate you watching.
ECHO TV is a co-production of Minnesota's Emergency and Community Health Outreach Collaborative of health, safety, ethnic and nonprofit agencies, and TPT's Minnesota channel.